Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. So I just thought I would bring you guys along today. I am preparing for a chili cook-off at our church tonight. So I'm gonna make one of my favorite chili recipes that I've been doing for a long time. So I'll just kind of talk you through this as we work on this chili together. There's a special thing about this chili that I'll explain to you guys in just a few minutes. But right now we're gonna get our ground beef ready to go. Grab some scissors really quick. So I wanted to show you guys, when I come home from Costco with a big batch of ground beef, I vacuum seal it just like this. And it is so nice to just have my ground beef all ready to go. Don't have to think about it. I know that it's already pre-portioned out into 1 pound packages for me, and I don't really have to deal with anything at that point, which is nice. So we're gonna get our ground beef going. And while that's going, we're gonna chop up some onion really quick. Get this ready. So when I was a chef at the sorority house for 11 years, I had the absolute pleasure of teaching several houseboys how to cook, how to prep, how to do all kinds of things, which was so much fun for me. And when I was teaching them how to cut onions, I was always so worried with them cutting towards their hand like the chefs teach you to do. So I showed them the way my grandmother taught me to do it. You cut your onion in half, lay it cut side down, then you just take a small stack of slices and just run your knife down them. And you end up with perfect diced onions, and there's no getting your knife close to your hand. We'll just grab one more stack here and we'll get this chopped up. So yeah, the houseboys did a whole lot of prep and stuff when I was at the house, and I just loved having them in the kitchen with me. I loved getting to teach them all kinds of fun things. As I said in another video, I taught several of them how to make bread, and they turned out to be fantastic bread bakers. They learned that one of my things in my kitchen was presentation is everything. So when you are cooking, we eat with our eyes before we eat with any other senses. We eat with our eyes first, then we eat with our nose, because the smell of what we're about to eat kind of wafts up into your nasal cavity, and so you really get to smell what you're eating. So when food is presented to you, you see it on the plate, you get to look at it, you get to smell it, and then you get to taste it. So we're gonna get our ground beef going. I'll bring you along with me while I get this ground beef cooking over here on the stove. All right, so we're gonna just get our ground beef chopped up here. This is all gonna go in the crock pot. And if you've never seen one of these tools, these are the best invention. I love it. It's called the Mix and Chop. It's a Pampered Chef product. I have 5. I have a couple in my kitchen. I have 2 in my camping stuff, because we use it when we're camping. So when we're making sausage gravy, when we're doing scrambled eggs, we're doing guacamole, all those things. This thing is just perfect to do that. So while we're cooking this ground beef, let me tell you a little bit about this recipe. It is a Paula Deen recipe that I have changed a little bit. I've kind of done my own thing to it, like I do a lot of recipes. And what I love about this recipe is I give this as Christmas gifts. And how I give it is, it takes canned beans, it takes ranch powder, it takes some seasonings, and I love that you can just get a beautiful basket. You can take your canned products, put those in the basket. You can get your packets together. You can make a little packet of seasonings with the cumin and the chili powder and the onion powder. What is super, super cute idea is to take all of your seasonings, the ranch seasoning packet, the taco seasoning packet, your chili powder, your onion powder, and your cumin. And if you buy the little clear bottles, spice bottles at your local grocery store, they usually have them for, like bulk spices, or you can buy them off of Amazon too. Take one of those and put all of those seasonings in that and layer them, make them look really pretty. Layer them in your container, your little bottle, and put that in the basket for them. That just really gives a little pop of color. It looks like you took a little more time than just putting cans in a basket. The other thing that I love to do with this chili when I give it as gifts is I love to include a bag of tortilla chips. And here where we are in Oregon, we have the Juanitas, which is the best tortilla chips ever. I absolutely love them. They are a fantastic chip. They're not greasy. They just have really, really, really good tortilla flavor. They're not overly salty. And so I just love those chips. So I like putting one of those bags of chips in there. The toppings for this taco chili is, you can do anything you want to. It's whatever your preferences are. You can do diced avocado. So put a couple avocados in the basket if you know that they love avocados. You can do diced onion. So put a red onion in there so they can dice it up with it. Put a jar of salsa in there. Let's see what else. Oh, you can do some limes are great in this taco chili. So just put a little bit of lime in there. So do some little fun things in the basket along with your cans, with your bag of chips that you put in there. We do put sour cream and cheese on this chili, but I wouldn't put the refrigerated stuff in the basket unless you know the person you're giving it to has the ability to refrigerate that stuff right away, that it's not going to be sitting out. So if you're bringing it to someone's house to give them to as a gift, and you know they're going to put the stuff in the fridge right away, then it's totally fine to do that. It's not a big deal. All right, so our ground beef is looking great. We're just going to get this ground beef off of here. So the recipe originally, when I started making this, it said to put your seasonings in the crock pot with everything else. I don't like to do that. That's just not the way I do it. I like to have my seasonings put in with the meat so that it can really start absorbing. So we've got our taco seasoning packet here. Whatever your favorite taco seasoning is, if you buy it in bulk at Costco, that's great. There's usually a direction on the back of it that tells you what the equivalent is of one packet. So these packets are 1 ounce. So I think that would be equivalent to probably a teaspoon maybe would be, let me grab my scissors really quick. So then that's another good point too, if you're going to give this as a gift, knowing what your measurement is on that so that you can put that amount in the little spice jar if that's what you're going to do with it. Here we have 1.5 tablespoons of our ranch powder. That is equivalent to 1 package of our ranch seasoning. So we're going to put that in here. Man, can I just tell you guys how good this is smelling already, and it's just the meat. Just imagine how great this is going to smell in your kitchen, cooking all day long. Now, as I said, I'm going to a chili cook-off tonight at my church, and so I'm not making this chili to win anything. I'm making this chili because I think it's going to be fun to get to taste everybody else's chili. I think we'll have probably about 20 ladies there that are making chili, which will be super fun. All right, so we're going to add 1 tablespoon of chili powder. And whatever your favorite chili powder is, that's what I would use. I love this 6 chili powder. I get this. It's a private selection brand from Fred Meyer, which is Kroger. So you can get that. Whatever your favorite chili powder is, that's what I would use. We've got our cumin. We're going to add in about 1/2 tablespoon of cumin. I love cumin. I absolutely love cumin. It is so, so good. And then we're going to put in about 1/2 tablespoon of some onion powder. Right in with our meat. And then we're going to add a little bit of salt. You can use whatever kind of salt you like. If you use kosher salt, I tend to like this Himalayan pink salt. Is my favorite thing right now. I get this at Costco. It's a great buy. All right, so we're just going to do that real quick. All right, so we put the spices in here. All of this stuff is going to cook together for, I'm going to give it about 5 minutes. Maybe just, what I like about putting the spices in the pan versus putting it in the crock pot is putting them in the pan with your meat allows your spices to bloom. And if you're not sure what bloom means, blooming your spices means that you're releasing all of the natural flavors, you're releasing all the natural oils that are in a spice. And so putting them in a dry pan, basically a dry pan, because we don't have any oil in here right now. This was really super lean ground beef. So I'll let you see what this ground beef looks like. This is what it looks like when you are blooming your spices in with your ground beef. So we're just going to let this sit here for a few minutes, and while it's doing that, we're going to add the rest of our canned stuff. So we have 1 can of pinto beans. We have 1 can of kidney beans. I like the light kidney beans, not the dark red ones. I mean, the dark red ones are fine if that's all you can get, but if I have a preference, it's going to be the light ones. And then we have 1 can of rotel, which is your diced tomatoes and green chilies. Now they do make a diced chili and diced chili and tomato with cilantro in it. If you are a cilantro fan, by all means use it. I am not. I am allergic to cilantro, so I stay away from it. All right, and then we have 1 can of tomato sauce, 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. That's going to go in here. We're going to save this can because we're going to do some water. Now, one of the adjustments that I made to this chili recipe is I like to add a can of chili beans to it. I love chili beans. So we're going to add our can of chili beans right in there. We're going to add our onions. Those are going to go right in here. And then I'm going to grab 2 cans of water. Okay, so we put our 2 cans of water in our crock pot. Now we are going to add all of our ground beef right into the crock pot. And oh my word, does this smell good. It smells amazing in here. So let me show you what our chili looks like now. So we've got all 3 of our beans in here, our pinto beans, our light kidney beans, our chili beans, our onions, our tomatoes, our tomato sauce. So we're just going to put the lid on our crock pot and we're going to let this just simmer on high. For 4 hours. And that is how fast that chili is. I absolutely love that chili recipe. All right, so while our chili is cooking, we are going to get started on, I'm bringing a salad. I volunteered to bring a green salad tonight for the chili cook-off. Before we do our lettuce though, I have to ask you guys a question. How many of you still have one of these? The Hidden Valley Ranch shakers? I think this thing is probably from the 80s, but I still love it. So we're gonna make some ranch really fast for our salad. So one thing that I do, I still use the ranch seasoning for it, but I love dill. I am just a huge fan of dill. So I have some dried dill. I love to put about a tablespoon of dried dill in with the ranch powder. That is just my favorite. So we're gonna put in what would be the equivalent of 1 packet of ranch powder, which is going to be a tablespoon and a half. We're going to put that in. We already have our buttermilk in there. Now we're going to add our mayonnaise. I can still remember my grandmother making Hidden Valley Ranch. That was her favorite. Also, my husband's mom, my mother-in-law, she was a huge fan of Hidden Valley Ranch. It was her absolute favorite salad dressing. She always had to have it. It was the only salad dressing she would eat. And so we used to give her a hard time because she had one of these shakers like this. It was super funny. So, all right, we can get this lid off. I think they're making things harder and harder to get into nowadays for some reason. All right, so we're gonna put in our cup of mayonnaise. All right, that should be good. And then we have the little, if you're familiar, we have the little wheel that goes in here. And we're gonna put our lid on. Make sure the lid's on tight. I have made that mistake before. And then this was always my favorite job, was giving it a good shake. My grandmother used to let me do this. You wanna get everything shook up really well. All right, we're gonna set that aside. So we're just gonna do some salad really quick. It's just a basic green salad. Your romaine lettuce, some tomatoes, some cucumber, that kind of stuff. But while I make this salad, so I love to meal plan. That is my absolute favorite thing to do. I love being able to know that I have an entire month's worth of meals set and ready to go. I don't even have to think about it. I just look at my calendar and I know exactly what I'm having for dinner. It allows me to prep on the weekends for what's coming up during the week. So if I need to chop veggies or whatever it is that I need to get ready for the week, it makes it super easy to do that. But as we all know, life doesn't always go as planned. So a lot of times I have things left over from the previous meal plan from the previous 2 weeks, because we do our grocery shopping every 2 weeks. Saturday, hubby and I go together, we do our grocery shopping. And so a lot of times when our plan doesn't go as we had hoped it was going to, then we will have things left over. And I don't want to waste something. So if I already have the stuff in my freezer, in my refrigerator, on my pantry, whatever, I like to be able to have a chance to go through my fridge, through my freezer, through my pantry, through my cupboards, and see what I have in there that I need to use up. So even though I have my meal plan made for an entire month, when I get to the last 2 weeks of the month, before we go do our shopping on Saturday, I like to go through my pantry, through my fridge, through everything, and look and see what didn't we use that we purchased, and what can we put back on the menu again that we didn't eat. So this is how I do it. I have my little grocery list here that I use. I love this one. It has, you know, it has some of the things that you're going to get in the store, but it also has a lot of blank spaces for you to do that. It has a spot for you to write your menu out if you need to, but I have it written down someplace else. This is my calendar that I use, and you can tell by looking at it that there are places where things are scratched out, but this is my meal plan for the entire month. I have it in this book, and then I write it on a calendar that's on our refrigerator. We have one of those magnetic calendars that goes on our fridge. So we put that up there, and that way there's no question about what's for dinner. So when hubby asks me what's for dinner, he can look at the calendar and see this is what we're having. But on the times when I've had to scratch something out of it, that just means that our plan didn't go as we had hoped it would, and that we needed to make an adjustment. Tomorrow is our niece's 4th birthday, so we're going to have pizza with them for that. So our dinner plan probably isn't going to be what's on the schedule or what's on the meal plan for that week. So we're probably going to have to make an adjustment, which means whatever we have on the menu for tomorrow will probably be done on Sunday after church. Although it depends. Sundays I try to do a crock pot meal, or I try to do something on Saturday that I can make, and we're going to have plenty of leftovers for Sunday. By the time we get home from church on Sundays, I'm usually starving, hubby is usually starving, and I don't want to have to make a big meal. I would rather be able to just heat something up or have it already done in the crock pot, ready to go, so that we can just sit down and eat and not have to worry about it. So when you're meal planning, think about those things. Think about what you guys enjoy eating, and don't stress about it if things don't go as planned on your menu. Make sure that you kind of keep track of what you have. Take a little bit of time before you go to the grocery store and do your inventory. See what you have on hand. Look at the things that you have on hand and figure out, okay, well, I didn't use this and I had this on the menu, so I'm going to put it back on and I'm going to do it again. So it's super, super helpful. It is one way to really save on your food budget. If you're trying to stick within something on your food budget, it really helps to have a list of what you have in your pantry, what you have in your freezer, what you have in your fridge, and to be able to stick to that menu. So we just added some cucumbers. We're adding some grape tomatoes. Another little tip that I have for you. I used to buy the pre-grated carrots. I love carrot in my salad. And we used to buy the pre-grated carrots at the store because it was a convenience food. Well, this is the funny thing. You look at the price. So for a little bag of grated carrots, it's almost $3 at my grocery store. And that's not even an organic brand. That's just a regular brand of pre-grated carrots. I have a grater right here. I bought 2 carrots right here, 2 fresh carrots for 61 cents. And it's probably only going to take 1 of those 2 carrots to put in this salad and have plenty of carrot for everybody. So I'm not, when you look at that, you're kind of like, okay, now why am I spending almost $3 for a bag of carrots when I could spend 61 cents and I could take the minute that it takes to shred up some carrots. These are really good quality carrots. I'm not going to worry about peeling them. I actually don't mind the peel being on the carrots. So I'm going to give this a quick wash. So if you have a veggie brush, you can get those in the grocery store, you can get them on Amazon, you can get them lots of places. Then you don't really have to worry about peeling your carrots because there's a lot of nutrition in that peel. So we're just going to grate this up really quick. So you see, that literally did not take any time at all to grate that carrot up, and I saved myself almost $2. Actually, I did save over $2. So a lot of times those convenience foods can be really, really expensive. If you get down to it and you look at the price of it, sure, it's going to save you a little bit of time, but when you look at your food budget, so what could you do with that extra $2 that you're spending when you buy the convenience carrots instead of buying a couple of carrots and grating them yourself? So there is our grated carrot. That didn't take any time at all. And I saved myself $2 in the process. So that is $2 that can go someplace else in my food budget instead of, you know, buying a pack of already grated carrots. What I've noticed too is those pre-grated carrots, they don't last very long. That's the other thing. So that's another way that you can save a lot of money, is by not buying a lot of the pre-packaged, pre-made type foods, but just taking a minute and grating your own carrots. So I want to thank you guys for joining me in the kitchen today. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will post a link for the taco chili in the description for you guys if you want to make this chili. It's really, really good. We love it. And follow those little tips that I gave you if you want to give this as a Christmas gift, as a hostess gift if you're going to someone's house over the holidays. It's a great little thing to put that stuff in a basket and take that to them. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you are new here and you want to see some other videos, there's going to be some other videos that you can find on my channel for some other things that I've done. I would appreciate if you'd subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any content. And I thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you later, friends.